It's a really good question. I'd have to say social proof is a powerful ideology that basically speaks to truth. If you haven't been through pain, you don't deserve the profit. I think that's literally all social proof is. Social proof is literally showing socially proof that you've been through something and now you can get them to that also result as well.
The people who have social proof are the people who are really out there and putting in the work. It's like, what are your real results? You know, like I'm showing y'all like I'm really out here building.
I want that to be my social proof that I didn't do anything stepping outside of my character. Once you do something that's outside of your character, you have to keep up with it and you have to maintain that. I always want to be true to myself.
I would say for me, social proof means telling your story. All the things I went through, like even growing my relationship with God, it wasn't always up. One of my biggest trials, the year I got saved, right? That story, I can use it to connect with my community, right? I'm not just coming as this professional that just know it all. No, I went through it too.
What's good, y'all? I used to pray for times like this, the pod like this, so I had to grind like that, to shine like this. Hey. All right, so I'm Travion. I'm the CEO of Royalty Made It. I help entrepreneurs and content creators bring first impressions to their brand, and
Hey y'all, I'm Jada. I am your favorite couture fashion designer. I specialize in creating set-apart custom designs for high-value women, and I hope to inspire other Black women designers to take those
keep it going. You got it.
You got it. All right, but my goal is to inspire other Black women who are in the fashion design space to step into the couture luxury space so we can see more brown people, more people who look like me in these luxury brands.
Yes.
I'm excited, man. Y'all got me excited. What's going on, y'all? My name is CEO Sean. I'm a 20-year-old options trader and entrepreneur. I help young adults and teenagers learn how they can make $1,000 a day in any market when it comes to trading. I'm just so really grateful to be here. I love the energy here, but I want to pass it off to Yanni.
Let's go. I'm excited for this, bro.
Me too.
Very excited.
But it's your girl Yanni. I help young adults grow their relationship with God through content and clothing, because I feel like there's not a lot of people targeting young adults and really talking to them the way that they need to hear, to attract them, and then also helping them grow as a person and their relationship with God too. Because I really want young adults to be in our purpose, And I feel like through that you have to grow their relationship with God, because that's what I experienced in my life. So
I love that. Let's get it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm your boy Zell, man.
Yeah.
The one and only.
The one and only.
Engineer, videographer, and producer of this podcast.
Yes.
Mr.
Big producer.
Mr.
Big
Z.
producer.
Yeah, so today we just getting in, we starting off smooth. We're about to let you know like what to expect from our podcast. We don't have a name yet, but we just know that we're dropping, we're executing, as you all should. And so, let's get into it.
Yeah, this is the episode where we're trying to basically, not necessarily prove ourselves. Like
we really need y'all to support.
Yeah,
like for real.
We need y'all to share with everybody.
Exactly.
Bruh, 30 and under, even if you're older, share with your grandkids, share with your husband,
your nieces, your nephews,
share with everyone.
all of that.
Make sure
and comment down below like what you resonate with throughout this episode. Like, what do you like about us? What you think we should work on?
Yeah,
we're all like continuing to grow each and every single day. So we're ready for whatever.
And that's why I like this, because I feel like we've all had our own experiences and upbringing, but we can all connect at the same time. So I feel like it's good because, there's other people that feel like they go through things and there's nobody else that's going through that thing that they're going through. So with us coming on the platform and really laying out, being transparent, I feel like we can resonate and kind of build that connection with other people.
Like I feel like we can give a new perspective because we're all young. We're in our early, I'm like 24, y'all are all 20, basically 19. Okay, yeah. So we're all young, and we're all trying to But we're all trying to like build something bigger than ourselves. And I feel like how times are right now, you see a lot more young people wanting to be entrepreneurs, wanting to build something bigger than themselves. Like in Atlanta, you'll see some freaking 19-year-olds with a G-Wagon or something. You know? For real.
How did you do that?
Literally, so I just feel like we are in an era where young people want more for themselves, and so
not settling.
Exactly. And so now we can be that voice, right? Like I feel like that's like our goal for this. It's like to be that voice for young people, like give them something to connect to, because all you really do see when you like try and find like podcasts or things like that, it's like an older generation, right?
Yeah.
You know,
That's
but we
true.
need like people we can relate to. So yeah,
we're looking to like build a community to help people. Like we're to the point where like we can have meetups and stuff. Like how can we grow? How can we excel? Different things like that. So it's just more so of just learning and growing throughout the process. And like we're all willing to eat and keep going after our dreams. Yanni, she doesn't live in Atlanta right now, but she made sure
She making
she
her
made a
way.
way. I just moved to Atlanta less than a month ago, so it's like we just going for every opportunity that we receive, and we keeping God in throughout it all. And so we just going through it with the flow with it.
And something I just thought about is like, I feel like we'll be able to show people like the importance of having that community. I feel like, well, I know y'all two met at like a business type of event. I know we did, and we met like in a business type of environment. I forgot how you said you and Trevion met.
Because we work
working
together.
with Dave.
Okay.
Shout out to Dave for giving us
Shouts
this opportunity.
out
No, for
Like,
sure.
Shout out to
Very
Dave.
appreciative.
Yeah.
We thank him for seeing the greatness within us and like the potential that we have to grow this. So I'm definitely excited for this, and I'm super appreciative of Dave. Thank you.
For sure. But like we met in Miami, and that was my first time like experiencing like community of like young entrepreneurs that are like my age, right? I feel like, and I don't know if y'all relate to this. If y'all do, like just let me know. But y'all ever like go to certain environments where it's like an entrepreneurial environment, but it's like people way older than you, and so it's just like you feel like you gotta carry yourself a certain way. Like, but it's so cool to know like we relate with each other for real. Like we go through similar things, and so it's like you feel like you don't have to act more professional or mature than you really are, like, but we still have these high level conversations. We still go deep, like we still talk about the same things that these other people are talking about, but it makes it cooler because we're the same age, so we really like just relate differently. Like we understand each other better. So I think that's going to be like really cool about this.
Like even when we was in Miami and stuff like that, like I didn't realize it at the time because we talked about it, for the podcast. I literally had to cut off friends, and I'm pretty sure we all had to cut off like certain friends and stuff like that. So creating a whole new group of friends that could also be a part of my new group and stuff like that. It kind of went all full circle for me when we were in Miami. It was literally for Black Equity Con. Again, shout out to Gabe again. Fire event. We had the yacht. We had everything. That was lit. But we all went jet skiing and stuff like that. We all had our own personal meetups in Miami and stuff like that. And we literally got to realize, all right, bet. We all got the right information in terms of being around the older people, but now we can have the freedom to be ourselves. Because when we're in those rooms with older people, we feel like, like when you at your parents' house, they over here with adults and stuff
you
like
gonna
that.
chill at your parents' house.
Exactly. My boy's respectful and all that stuff. Like we are, but at the same time, like when we're around our friends, we're around each other, we're more open, we're more expressive, and like that's the key. So like we're combining expressiveness with entrepreneurship.
Like I don't want to be in a shell like you said of being like mature. Like I want to woo dance. I want to like baby welcome to the party. Like I'm trying to get lit. Sometimes like I want to get lit, but I still want to like achieve my goals and stuff like that. So it's like you just want to have that balance of everything and not so just be like, oh, this is business. I have to be so serious. I got to dress this way. I got to be here. I got to do that. Like I just want to be myself.
Like we can still have finances, like we can still work on our finances, but still work on having fun. We can still get lit, but we can also still learn. Like, you know, there's a lot of different things we could do. So like, as long as we're focusing on both, and we're able to balance both, then that's when we can find success.
And the crazy thing is, when you get into these rooms, like a lot of them, they say like, wow, like you're only 19, you're only 20, and you're doing this. Like if I had that opportunity, like they always say that. So it's like we're on the right track, and we can't like just minimize ourselves and like waste time of like just consistently working and being like, oh well, I wish I would have did this when I was younger. I wish I would have had more fun. I wish I would have went out. Like we still are focused on our goals, holding each other accountable, but it's like we're able to have fun in the meantime of that as well. And this is all organic. Like y'all just met, and it's like all of that, so it's real organic right now.
Yeah, for sure.
We definitely been hanging out a lot more too. Like
it's been cool.
Sean is the out of pocket one.
Yeah, y'all gonna learn that. Like just expect him to always say some crazy stuff.
I don't be saying crazy stuff. See, look, I don't be saying no crazy stuff.
He cooks on the air fryer. So he thinks he knows how to cook, but an air fryer. Y'all let us know if an air fryer is like that. Test your skills if you really could cook. Because I can't cook. Like I can know how to use food on the air fryer, but it's like nah. I know.
Sometimes you gotta get creative. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like, you know, you gotta get creative with cooking and stuff like that. So like, you know, I say I'm pretty chill. You know what I'm saying? I can say I'm pretty chill. But yeah, like I might have an out of pocket moment, but yeah, like if you see future episodes, I think there's gonna be episodes where, you know, all of us, you know, we're just expressing ourselves. When they say out of pocket, they just mean I'm very
out of pocket.
I'm very
out of pocket.
First thing that comes to mind.
Out of pocket. Yeah, but I definitely, let's get into how we like started our business and what we do and stuff like that. So Trey, you can go first.
So I started with originally, like I feel like you always have that entrepreneur spirit in you in some shape or form. So when I first started, I was washing cars at my school. I was part of like the Club of Gentlemen, where I had like mentors, and they were, you know, just getting us through life, telling us like, you know, what's to expect as you get older and different things like that. So I was washing cars in the summertime. Ain't nobody wanted to show up, so I was just getting all the bread, stacking it. And when I first got to high school, I wanted to be like a surgeon. But then I was like, this is not for me.
Surgeon.
Like, I was like, this is not for me.
Come on.
I was like, the time that it takes for all of that, I'm like, we're not doing that. We gotta pivot to something else. So then I just moved forward. I was washing the cars. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But eventually I got into doing YouTube and different things like that. Grew my channel. It has over like 59,000 subs, and like I grew that.
Okay, let me get a shout out.
Yeah, like it had a
Like
great
you gotta
run.
talk about that 59,000.
We're gonna get into that for sure in the future. So it had a great run. And I just eventually learned that, like, okay, at the time, like now I'm in front of the camera again, but at the time, like as I was getting on that pedestal of like, you know, having a platform, having an audience and stuff, I realized that I was such an introvert. And so I was like, all right, well, I feel like that was God like molding me for this now, because I had like a lot of lessons, like you have like negative comments and stuff like that that you got to deal with. So it was like, now I sat down for like a couple years. So from 2019 all the way up until 2022, I was like, let me just build this brand, which is Royalty Media. I built the graphic design agency because I knew I didn't want to quit YouTube full time. I knew that I still wanted to be a part of it. So I was like, instead of me just completely like erasing this from my life, I'm gonna work behind the scenes now, and I'm gonna start doing edits for different, you know, content creators that you may know of and things like that. And so I just been building that and working towards that. That's how I got connected with Dave and different things like that, and just working the room, putting my best foot forward, and we're just gonna keep growing.
So do you feel like you always wanted to be like in a creative space, like even before you knew what you wanted to do, like when you were younger, did you always feel like I want to do something creative? Or,
I always felt that way. Like I started just like I remember at home, like just in the house, like just watching YouTube videos, watching like productions behind the scenes of music videos, all of that stuff. Like doing in middle school, I was doing like cartoons and like the flippergrams, like the flippergram posts, like the couple ones, and then like the emoji background and all of that stuff. I remember doing that. So I always knew I wanted to be a creative, but then my vision or my path kind of steered away when I went into like, oh, I want to be a surgeon. But I was like, nah, this don't sit right with me. And I just began to teach myself how to edit videos from my phone. And that's why you got to start with what you what you have. Like I just started straight off my phone. I put my sneaker boxes as like my tripod and like just different things like that. I pulled like the lamp and put it in front of the camera. Like you got to work with what you have. You can't sit there and wait for the opportunity to come. You just have to create it.
Thanks. I love that. You literally made it work.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Yeah. Because people will make excuses.
Yeah. I got to wait until I get a camera. I got to wait until I have a laptop. I got to wait until I have the people around me like y'all. Like, I have to wait until I have that friend group. Like, no, you have to build it so that they can attract to you. If you're not putting the energy out there, then you won't receive it.
That's facts.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay.
So how about you? Because I know you got some dope stuff.
Facts.
Come on, tell them.
Talk to him.
So, I knew I wanted to be a fashion designer since I was 7. My aunt, she was a designer. She used to like sew clothes for her church, and I always thought it was like the coolest thing. And so, I remember I'm in 2nd grade. And my parents gave me my first sketchbook. Like I told them I want to be a designer. And they gave me my first sketchbook. And literally I spent that whole entire night just filling up the sketchbook. To this day, I still have my first sketchbook ever with the most ugliest designs. Like literally. But I had like all these sketches in there. And I remember like going back to school. And I'm showing my classmates this sketchbook. Like I'm like, I'm gonna make this one for you. Like I make this one for you. Like I have their names written like on pages. Like, okay, this design is for Precious. Like this design is for like Diamond or whatever. And so, and so it's just like I knew from like a very young age like that this was something I wanted to do. And I always, even like the brand name, like my brand name is Jael. So it's my first and my last name together. So J-A and then E-L-L, Jael. And my mom put that together. And I had that brand name since I was 7 years old. Like I remember my aunt, she helped me make my own little denim little purses. And I got like a Bratz sewing machine, and the Bratz sewing machine came with like little tags, clothing tags, and you just write your brand name on it. So I have these purses, and inside it says Jael Designs. So it's like this has been something that's been like a part of my life for forever. And so I've always been like grateful that I was somebody who could figure that out at a young age. And I still have my moments where I was like, oh, like maybe I'll be an architect, you know? And do something that's like more logical, like how you said, like being a surgeon. But fashion was always there. Like I would make clothes for my dolls. I would like cut up my sister's clothes and like make stuff for my dolls and things like that. And I was just always creative. I used to, the girls who lived in my neighborhood, I would put fashion shows together and our parents would come and watch us. Like, so it's just always been a part of me. But I like to tell people, like, I always feel like I was just walking like near my purpose instead of like walking in my purpose, because I knew I was supposed to be a fashion designer, but everybody, you have to have a niche, whatever y'all like to say, but you have to have one of those. And so I went through like most of my life just trying out different things. Before I knew how to sew, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the thrift store and I'm gonna buy a bunch of like denim, and I would like bleach it, I would dye it, I would paint American flags on it. Then I started trying to like sell that in middle school. Then when I learned how to sew, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do streetwear. I started selling like boxer shorts with money prints all on them. Like, I tried like fur coats and like tie-dye jackets and swimsuits, and I was just trying everything. And then like by the time I got to my senior year, I made like my first gown, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this, you know? But I still was like confused on what my brand was supposed to look like. So I don't know, and y'all could probably relate to this, like especially with y'all being content creators. But y'all ever just like take on orders even though it don't align with what your brand, like, so you're just taking like whatever comes to you. So that's what I was doing, like, because I didn't have a vision for my brand. So whatever type of project came my way, I just took it because I didn't have an aesthetic. I didn't have like my own idea. So
like you trying to work with doctors.
Yeah, exactly. Like you asked me to make a lab coat, and I'm like, okay. And so that's what I was on. Like, you know, and so I was just trying things because I didn't have like my own vision. But once I like moved to Atlanta, went to school, dropped out, all that good stuff. After that, I like 2019, I got saved, and before then I didn't believe in God or anything. And God showed me like in this time, like this moment of like isolation, like this is what I want for your brand. Like you are going to be like have a brand that's known around the world. Like you're going to, and it's not just going to be like a brand like everybody else. It's like, it's going to be a brand that's a light to the world. Like through my collections, it's going to share the beauty of God. I'm gonna have like choirs and like dance visuals and like my own music at these fashion shows, like all of this stuff. And so I realized that this vision was much bigger than me, but God didn't stop there. Like he said, not only is this going to be like what you do for your brand, but I want you to be the blueprint, and I want you to show other Black women, because it's not a lot of people that look like you that's in this space, that's like building the Black owned Versace's, that's building the Black owned Gucci's. So you're going to go and help other Black women get into this space. And so that way it could be more people that look like you that are like leaders in this space, you know? And so that's like what I do. And so like fashion is ingrained in me.
Think of a number in your head. How much do you think it would cost for me, a pretty successful entrepreneur, to coach you every single day, to give you all of the game? I'm talking about every day for an entire year, Monday through Friday. I'm on a virtual call teaching you how I've done the things that I've done, and me updating you every single day in real time on all the business moves that I'm making, all the negotiations that I'm in, everything that I'm doing before I actually do it. How much you think? And let's say Monday through Friday, and then on Thursdays we do a Q&A where not only do you get a chance to ask your questions and get them answered, but you get to hear the answer from a whole community, hundreds of other people on a call, and you get their answers that are going to help you too. What do you think? And once or twice a year, get together, free conference that we all get to come to, and you get to meet all these people that you see virtually. How much do you think that would cost every single year? 10,000? Not even close. It would probably be closer to 100,000, because it's just, my time is valuable, and to give you the sauce that's going to help you make millions, I'd have to charge you at least 100,000. But what I've done is created a community where you get the advantage of learning how to become an entrepreneur. You get to network with hundreds of entrepreneurs every single day. You got a community that keeps you inspired and excited. You will read a book club with us every single day. We'll also have an event where we come together once or twice a year for free. We do all of that for $399 for the year. Now, you can also get it at $79 a month, but $400, the price it costs for 2 pairs of Jordans, no tax, of course. You get all of that, $399. Now is the time you join the Morning Meetup. You've been watching the Social Proof Podcast. You've been watching me build my business. You've seen where it started. And if you're just now like understanding like what's going on with my brand, go ask somebody. I've got receipts of things that I built over the last decade, okay? I am willing to coach you. $399 for the year. Listen, go to themorningmeetup.com or click the link in this video. Let's get back to the episode. But keep in mind, I want to coach you. Let's get started.
I feel like as a creative, like God always gives you that gut feeling of like,
literally,
okay, I'm gonna give you bits and pieces of like what you're gonna really do. Like them flipograms, them cartoon edits. I'm like, I ain't doing this for no reason. I just always had that gut feeling like this is lining up with something else for my future. And I never understood it. And like even with you, like you have a whole community now of women that, like in you know, people that do the designs and stuff, and they're with you every time you do the calls and all of that stuff.
That's dope.
No, for real.
That's really dope.
I really like that you're inspiring people. Like most people don't even want to do that. Once they get this information and this knowledge, they want to keep it to themselves, or just like only keep it for themselves and their family.
Like just be the only one to make it to the top. Like I could easily say I want to be the only Black woman that makes it to this space, but instead it's like, no, like let me take this information back to my community so that we can like, it could be more of us in this space, you know? Exactly.
And one thing I learned is that like with when you hold on to information, you're holding on to other people receiving it. And also I've learned that it means that you don't know enough, because you don't feel stable in knowing that like, okay, I can give out this information, but I can also still hold my own weight when I walk into rooms and when I'm in different spaces. So it's like, you got to understand that and realize that you're not taking away from yourself by sharing information.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's true. That's powerful.
So how about you?
So yeah, Sean.
So like I said, my name is Sean Bennett. When I first started, I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was younger. I was too busy getting in trouble. My hands were, I had a full-time job of, being misbehaving, getting in fights, getting in trouble in school, not doing my chores. I was very busy back then.
Yeah.
So
I thought you was gonna say your hands were swinging.
But I was very busy. I had we talked about this, before we recorded, but I lost my sister when she was 5, and that kind of caused me to be in this place where I was just very combative against the world. So I did have a lot of creative ways that I was expressing myself. So I was doing, I don't know if y'all remember, like the OGs, we had origami. So you get a piece of paper, you fold it up to different things. So I was doing that. I would definitely draw. I would definitely do sports. I would just try to get active as much as I possibly can to like make my mind move. But I didn't know specifically what I wanted to do. So I just ended up kind of being like a jack of all trades. And then when I got to high school, I started kind of putting up a facade about who I was a little bit, just to kind of get friends and stuff like that. And then eventually, I had a situation with like one of my closest friends, and, she kind of just flipped on me a little bit.
Yeah.
And that kind of forced me into this position, like, again, like you said, isolation. But then I started realizing that I was putting up a facade for everybody else. But then I started thinking and flipping it, like, what do I want? Like, what do I actually want for myself? So I started discovering that. And what I discovered that through was like looking up other young entrepreneurs and also learning what different things I could like get into. Cause I know I didn't want to, I was still a logical thinker. Like I still like, all right, I don't want to go to college because if I go to college, I want to study business.
Yeah.
So like why study business in college when I could just study it from someone that's already the entrepreneur that I want to be.
Right.
So because I had that thought process, I started looking for other entrepreneurs in the space, but I wanted specifically young entrepreneurs. But I had to see if they were actually, because there's a lot of people that's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this and this and this, but they're not. So I had to kind of go through that period of deciphering. But I cut off like all the friends that I had back then. I was kind of locked myself in my room, and I just study, and I just focused. I feel like that's why I got ahead a little bit. And then I just started trying things. Like, so the first thing I started with was wholesaling real estate. So I tried that, and then that ended up, so I was 17 at the time. So I had the squeakiest voice. Y'all probably hear voice cracks and stuff like that too. So, but I was trying to close a deal on one of the houses. And then if you're in the wholesaling space, you know that there's the buyer and then there's the seller. So I got cut off not by the seller, but from the person I found on Facebook to buy it. So he cut me out as I was the middleman, and he was cutting me out. So, I couldn't make more money from that. So I just said, let me go try the e-commerce. And then I tried that. That didn't really work out as well because I didn't understand marketing at the time. And then that's when I found my baby, options trading. So the reason that clicked for me is because it kind of, the thing I like about the market is it makes you accountable. It definitely taught a lot. It built me as a man in general. It taught me about discipline. It taught me about I got to really know my stuff in order for me to actually excel. So I literally spent a lot of time and dedication into learning the craft. And then from there, when I first started, so I started within 4 days. So like Christmas time came around, I told my parents, like, don't get me any gifts. Like, get me something on the stock market, give me something on, the markets and stuff like that. Shout out to Wall Street Trapper. That was the first course that I got. It didn't even teach me options trading. It taught me about investing in stocks and stuff like that and understanding a company. So I just used all that information. 4 days later, December 29th, I placed my first trade with $500, $580, something like that. I won it from a business competition. Used that. $580 turned into $2,000, and I was like, ooh.
Period.
I need to do this. So actually, it's so funny because I turned 18 and then the day after I sold it for $2,000. So I was like, this is something I need to do. And the reason it clicked for me is because it just flowed with my thought process and how I think and stuff like that. I think very step by step logical, and I always want to understand why. So like the way that I communicate and like, have y'all as my friends, I kind of use that same ideology that I have towards y'all, and I put that in the market, and that's why I found some success. And now I'm still doing it to this day, 2 years and 2 months, 3 months in.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
I
love that you kept trying, like, even though like the wholesale didn't work out and e-commerce didn't work out, like you could have easily said, like you said, 17 you started. You could have easily said, well, I tried wholesaling, I tried e-commerce. I'm 17, 18. I might just go to college. And nothing wrong with college, but
nothing wrong with
but I'm gonna give up and do the thing that I didn't want to do.
Exactly. And so I feel like that's so cool that even at a young age you were like well, I'm gonna still keep pushing. I'm gonna still keep trying things out.
Right.
Sometimes
that's another thing that I would say. Like college, it's like the common thing that people say when they don't go is like, "Oh, it's not for me."
It's not for me.
You
Yeah.
didn't try it at all to know if it's for you. But
I did that. I'm not gonna lie, I did that.
But it's just like if you already know what you want to do, why go to college to
Unless you want to leverage it. Like,
unless you want to leverage it. Other than that, it's like if you already know what you want. Like when I first my senior year, I was about to fail almost because I just wasn't focused on school at that point. I was already going, like my business was already flowing and stuff. I already had connections, so it was like I'm not even focused about school. Like I'm about to be done with it. Like, I'm about to be outside. And the thing about it, like one thing that I took for myself is like, and why am I gonna go to like a business? A business major and stuff, and like half of those teachers, not saying all of them, but half of them may have not even started their own business. So why not just fall on my face in the real world first, and make my own, like understand from my own perspective, make my own experiences, take my own lessons from it, instead of just like going to a school and learning from somebody who hasn't even done it themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Think of a number in your head. How much do you think it would cost for me, a pretty successful entrepreneur, to coach you every single day, to give you all of the game? I'm talking about every day for an entire year, Monday through Friday. I'm on a virtual call teaching you how I've done the things that I've done, and me updating you every single day in real time on all the business moves that I'm making, all the negotiations that I'm in, everything that I'm doing before I actually do it. How much you think? And let's say Monday through Friday, and then on Thursdays we do a Q&A where not only do you get a chance to ask your questions and get them answered, but you get to hear the answer from a whole community, hundreds of other people on a call, and you get their answers that are going to help you too. What do you think? And once or twice a year, get together, free conference that we all get to come to, and you get to meet all these people that you see virtually. How much do you think that would cost every single year? 10,000? Not even close. It would probably be closer to 100,000, because it's just, my time is valuable, and to give you the sauce that's going to help you make millions, I'd have to charge you at least 100,000. But what I've done is created a community where you get the advantage of learning how to become an entrepreneur. You get to network with hundreds of entrepreneurs every single day. You got a community that keeps you inspired and excited. You will read a book club with us every single day. We'll also have an event where we come together once or twice a year for free. We do all of that for $399 for the year. Now, you can also get it at $79 a month, but $400, the price it costs for 2 pairs of Jordans, no tax, of course. You get all of that, $399. Now is the time you join the Morning Meetup. You've been watching the Social Proof Podcast. You've been watching me build my business. You've seen where it started. And if you're just now like understanding like what's going on with my brand, go ask somebody. I've got receipts of things that I built over the last decade, okay? I am willing to coach you, $399 for the year. Listen, go to themorningmeetup.com or click the link in this video. Let's get back to the episode, but keep in mind, I want to coach you. Let's get started.
And something you said, oh, my bad.
Oh, I was going to say real quick, as far as like college goes, because I went there for like a year and a half and then I dropped out. Yeah. And what I realized when I got there is, like you said, experience. Like I feel like experience is really like what matters. Like that is really what's going to help you get to where you want to go. Because I had been interning since I was 15 years old. Working with this seamstress, Miss Donna. She my favorite white lady. I love you. Like, for real. Shout out to her. She literally, like, she treats me like her daughter. I love her so much. But she let me intern for her at a young age, so I didn't have to keep paying for sewing classes. And when I got to college, literally, I was so ahead of like everyone else. Like, I remember me and my friend, we had a final. It took, we had to make a simple dress, the most basic dress. It took the whole class like 3 weeks to do, a few weeks. Me and my friend did that dress in 3 hours. Like, and so.
Just focus.
Exactly. Because
3 hours
like,
is crazy for
like,
3 weeks.
Like, like it was so simple. Like we were so like ahead, and another thing, like, you have to think about when you go to school, it's like, how much do the people that's teaching you, like, actually care about the curriculum?
Right.
Are they just there to get a check?
That's good.
Because literally, I remember one of the professors said that they had to dumb down the program because they said the students weren't trying hard enough. So they said, well, we used to give, like, these complex, like, these difficult projects for finals, but people stop trying. So that's why y'all get this basic dress now. But then you have students like me and my friend who, like, we really want to be designers for real. And we're not even getting challenged. And so I feel like that's, like, something you should think about, like, when going to college too. So I learned everything from experience. Like, I did internships up until I was 21. And so I feel like that worked for me.
Something that sparked a thought from both of y'all. First, I want to say I have the same mindset, like, about the whole business thing. I'm like, why would I go to a business school? I could just pay for a mentor or a course or something. Yeah. But with both of y'all stories, it really sparked a thought. Like, you started since you were younger. You did little stuff, right? You did the flipograms. You started with the little stuff. And I feel like you got to start with where you are. You know? It's like those small things add up, and they're like steps towards where you are now. Like, even for me, I would record little YouTube videos and edit them just for fun, you know? And it's like God's saying, okay, you know, it's like he's giving you pieces to the puzzle on your way up, you know?
Yeah, you're not sure why, but you just know, like, it's like I was doing that stuff off a phone. Sitting there tracing the picture off my phone, doing the flipogram edit off my phone. And I had an edit for years like after that. And so when I did start my YouTube channel, it was like, it was just coming to me naturally to learn how to cut the video, how to add this sound effect. And you also have to use your resources. We have the internet. If you don't have a mentor, find one on YouTube and listen to their word every single day and listen to what they're saying. You don't need a mentor physically in front of you in order to learn. That's also true. If you're trying to learn how to do something, look up tutorials, how to put, like, how to sew a dress, how to edit a YouTube video, how to do options trading, how to invest in, like, how do you know what course to invest in? Like, you have to use YouTube University. Resources. Honestly,
that's what I did.
Like, YouTube University, that's where I went.
Yeah, that's
really
where
good.
I went.
Yeah, that's where I went. I be telling people that, like, what school did you go to? Oh, YouTube University. Yeah, 4-year degree in entrepreneurship. Shout
out to YouTube.
Shout out to YouTube. But I was just studying that stuff. Well, like, it's funny because we all kind of said it a little bit. Like, we just wanted to pursue what felt right to us, and even if it sucked a little bit, even if, like, there are certain obstacles and stuff like that we kind of have to go through, we kind of still realize, like, all right, bet, even though, like, for me, I realized I was this many no's away or this many fails away from getting my first win. So, like, how many, like, you got to ask yourself this, like, let's say the win is $1 million, right? So imagine if I say, all right, bet, you're 19 no's away, or 19 failures away, or 19 falls away from getting to $1 million. How quickly would you be willing to fail?
I like when you said that before.
Because you can do, like, because that doesn't just mean, like, failing. It could mean, like, getting a no. It could mean messing up something. It could be being in the wrong industry. How many industries do you not have to be in for me to pick what you want to be in? Like, for me, it was two industries. It was wholesaling, and then it was e-commerce, and then from there I was like, all right, bet, trading, like, this is the next one. So I got lucky. So, you know, it was those three that I had, well, 2 no's and then 1 yes. And then options trading was yes. But like, how many things do you have to go through, like, to get to your actual dream?
And I want Yanni to tell your story as well. But like, I feel like nowadays, like, everything comes to us so easy with the internet. We have access to different people that we normally wouldn't have access to had there not been an internet and stuff. And so I feel like our confidence is so fragile sometimes because, like, we don't get those no's. You don't have to go outside and hand out, if you're doing music, you don't got to hand out your mixtape no more. Facts. You don't have to go and hand out your clothes and be like, support my clothing brand anymore. But it's like, our energy is our confidence is so fragile, and so, like, once we get that no, we immediately want to stop. If the vision is in your head, you need to execute it. It's nobody else's vision to execute on. So it's like, you have to just go out and get it and keep making attempts. The more attempts that you make, the more you learn as you go. I've failed so many times with YouTube and graphics and stuff like that. Clients tell me, like, I don't really like this. I still have problems. Like, I need to get better with, like, colors and stuff and adding that into a flyer to make it more fun and make it more live and stuff. So it's like, you learn as you go, and you just have to keep upgrading your life each and every time, investing into courses and all of that.
All right, well, I guess it's my turn. So like I said earlier, or a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
I started when I was younger, right? I would edit YouTube videos and record vlogs and morning routines and just edit them and just keep them because I didn't want to post them. And also I would do the flipograms. Like I would teach people this is how you do this and help people with their content and stuff like that. So yeah, that's when I was younger. And then I kind of did that all throughout, like up until like middle school.
Yeah.
And then middle school is like, okay, bet I'm gonna start my YouTube channel. I made the banner and all of that. Didn't start it yet. Then high school comes around. Throughout this whole journey, I'm still editing and making content and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then in high school, kind of like my junior year of high school, like right before COVID, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sell lashes, right?
Yeah.
So, and around this time, it wasn't a lot of people with online businesses too.
Yep.
So I would just be in class, like searching up how to ship orders, how to start a Shopify, like teaching about to give a test. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, during class, I would just be tuned out in my own world, just researching and working on my lash business. And then I launched it. And then I remember during class, I would go to the bathroom and make sales and come back, have my little pouch with my money in it. I really felt like her, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, that's when COVID hit hard and schools started not shutting down, but like closing kind of. And then we went virtual, and around this time I was so discouraged because I'm like, my lash business starting to get some motion, and it's like at the time I haven't mastered e-commerce. I just started because I know you're supposed to have one, but my sales were really coming from school, right? So I started getting really discouraged, and I remember just doing my research, searching up how to do influence marketing and stuff like that. So then time goes by and I have my lash business, and I'm really being really creative with my content in my lash business. And keep in mind, like all the way up until I started my clothing brand, I would always tell myself, bro, I'm never going to have a clothing brand. I'm like, because it's going to be too difficult. I don't want to handle, sizes and, you know what I'm saying? If they don't like it or has something on it, I got to deal with that. So then December comes around, and I felt like God was really telling me to like start a clothing brand, right? And the reason why I say this is because with my lash business, it was starting to do well and pick up, but I'm like, I can't really expand my creativity the way I want to. Like, I can only market to girls who wear lash strips. That's the only people I can market to. So I feel like I'm limited because I have all these ideas, but I can't really do that because, you know what I'm saying? So then I'm like, okay, bet I'm gonna start my clothing brand, right? And then it's like January of 2021, I'm like planning it out. And around this, like the middle of 2020, I had gotten into a car accident. And then 2021, January, I got the insurance money and I invested that into my clothing brand.
Okay.
I invested that to start my clothing brand. Exactly. So I used that to, I used that to start my clothing brand. Because, all throughout my journey of my lash business and all this stuff, I've been working on my mindset and stuff like this. So now I don't have the mindset of I can use this to go get clothes. I'm like, I can use it to start my clothing brand. So then I started to get the samples and all that stuff. And then I launched it February of 2021. It wasn't until later until I came up with like the brand meaning.
Okay.
So middle of 2020, kind of like you, I gave different year, but I gave my life to God. And then later on in my clothing brand, I'm like, okay, something that resonates with me is my relationship with God, right? And I'm like, ever since I gave my life to God, I kind of been looking at my past self and then people I used to hang out with and stuff like that. And I'm like, I really didn't know what I was doing, and I'm like, I really want, and then I also saw the way I grew too. So I'm like, I really want other young adults to experience the same growth I had, so I'm like, okay, I can put that into my brand, like really using it as a platform to help young adults grow their relationship with God. And at first I'm like, it's only a clothing brand, but now it's not even a clothing brand, like it's content and clothing, so it's like, that's why I started it.
I love that.
And that's the meaning and stuff like that. So
I love that a lot. One thing I really admire about what you do is like the boldness that you have. I feel like some people may not even realize it, but it really does take a lot of boldness and courage to be so open about what you believe. Like, that's something I've always like struggled with, even before like I got saved. Like, I've always struggled with like whatever I believe in, like being open like about that. And so for you to be like walking that confidence and like God put that message on your heart, like with the videos that you do, like talking to people about God, like the interviews, like that actually takes boldness, because a lot of people I feel like a lot of Christians, like what we do is we just keep our faith to ourselves. Like, I believe in God, but I'm gonna just keep this to myself because I'm scared to talk to other people about it. Like, I don't want to seem too churchy or something like that. But it's not even being too churchy. It's like you love God and you know God's love, so you're sharing it with other people, but still like that's something I still struggle with. So that's something I really admire. Like, you do that boldly, so I think that's super cool.
And I would say, I'm not gonna lie, when I first started, I used to be like that. Like, you know, I have this word in my heart, but I'm like, you know, I don't really, especially the people that were following me, people that saw me growing up. So I'm like, they gonna be like, she changed, blah, blah, blah. But then I'm like, bruh, like at the end of the day, they're not gonna be in my life. When I'm in a grave, I'm in a grave by myself. So it's like, and then I'm gonna have to face God one day, and I don't want him to be like, I was telling you to do this, I was telling you to do this, and I wanted you to change this person's life, I wanted you to do this, but you were so shy about it when I was giving you the boldness, right? And I'm gonna have to answer to that. So I realized that I'm like, I don't want to be in that position. And also I wanted to say, the way I overcame that is I realized it and I'm like, okay, bet, I'm gonna take it to God. And I feel like a lot of people, they think it's like being Christian is like such a religious thing, but really God just wants you to come to him and like be real with him.
It's
like
about relationship.
Exactly. Be real with him. Tell him what you're struggling with. It's like he already knows anyway. He already know you don't want to post that Christian post. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that. So I prayed. I was like, Lord, I feel that you want me to do more and express you more and you express your love to people more, but I'm like, I don't know how to do it, and I feel reserved about it. So I prayed, I asked him to give me the boldness, and ever since then, like, it started with me like doing little motivational videos, inspirational videos, and now it grew to me doing it in my clothing brand. So
it ended up on Shade Room.
Let's get it.
No, for real.
Wise label. Yeah, I feel like I've dealt with that as well. Being nervous to just like pray in front of people, show that I'll listen to like Christian music and I know the words to the songs and stuff like that. I know I know those, like I've been there. So like I've been there and I'm working towards like just being more open about it. The same way you could be open about promoting your business, doing sinful things, listening to different songs, like other, like you can share that too. That part of your life. That doesn't need to be kept a secret, because that's what pushes you every day, like every single day. That's what's pushing the vehicle forward.
So you never hide who you are, like, because most, like, the reason why, and most likely, like, because again, I've been in that same boat too, because I was always trying to do things for other people, but then I realized at the same time, I'm not. It's not like, oh, I'm pushing a religion down your throat. It's not like I'm pushing this, like, whatever this specific thing is. It's like, hey, I'm operating out of my belief system. So now I'm communicating that to you. So even for you, it wasn't like, oh, like, you're not telling everybody, oh yeah, everybody, you should da-da-da-da. Like, this is my belief system and this is why you're explaining it. And you're describing it to people. So now that they understand your viewpoint, and then from there they can adopt that viewpoint. And then from there, if they want to adopt it, it's like everybody has a choice at the end of the day. And what you're doing is you're not necessarily doing something that's forceful. You're doing something that's just being you. You're just operating in yourself.
And my brother, like my little brother Dre, his school, like they were saying, they had when they were graduating, they were singing a song. It'd be like, I love God. You don't know God. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
I was like, dang, that's good that they're like instilling that into them early, so that way they're not afraid about it in the future. So yeah, I think that's real good. So like, with everything that we're doing, like, you got a question?
Yeah, man. So I feel like God is really important, you know. And with me, like, I already came into this world being at a disadvantage. I was 2 pounds 2 ounces.
Really?
Premature. Yeah. So,
dang, that's crazy.
like, you all are here for a reason. You all have a purpose. You know? So just remember that and work hard and strive and
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Needed that.
crazy.
deep.
You've been a fighter since you came out the womb.
And people be like, "You just
for
dramatic."
real.
Nah.
I'm gonna lie, like going through all of the pains and suffering, like, you know, growing up, I was kind of like you. I was rebellious. I was.
Same.
Yep.
I mean, it might sound crazy, but when I lost my mom at 12, that really got me locked in on being a better person. And from that day forth, I just had a purpose. Like how can I be a better role model? How can I set the example? You know, and that's really
and like I agree with y'all too. Of just like having like, you know, just being resentful of everything and all of that stuff. Like I feel like as a man, you always told to keep stuff in. So it's like we don't know any other way to express it by just like being angry and acting out. So it's like you have to deal with that and like you have to like process it on your own and just you know, work through it on your own. Eventually you can start sharing it with people over time.
And sometimes you learn sometimes you learn what your purpose is by losing people. Unfortunately, it's a sad reality. But like when you lose somebody, that changes you. So like it changed me. At first for the worse, and then from there I started navigating that pain because I was too young to comprehend what was going on. Because logically speaking, I couldn't really I couldn't comprehend like, all right, cool. So like, you know, I get it. Like if there's a killer or there's like, you know, bad people in the world, you know, if they, you know, die, it's like, like there was to a certain extent, but it was like my sister literally was 5 years old, didn't do anything. She was literally new to the world. Like
didn't even get the opportunity.
Like she never been in a fight or anything. Like all she knew was like joy and happiness, and she was always vibrant. So like to see her go, it's just like logically speaking, it didn't make sense. But through losing her, it allowed me to literally be here with you guys now. So it's like, all right, bet, like if I didn't lose her, would I be here? Would I be thinking about impacting this many people? Would I even care about impacting the world at a bigger level if I didn't have her not here, right? So there's always like, again, even though it's a super negative thing and it's a very bad thing in our life personally, it doesn't necessarily have to be for everybody else that we impact and come across.
I wanted to touch on something Zill said, but it applies to you too. Because both of y'all pivoted. Like you said, you lost your mom at 12. It takes a lot of strength to say that, like, I am going to change, like, I'm going to do better. Like, I know people who lost their parents at, like, the same age and are still just filled with so much anger and hate to this day. And they didn't use, like, even though that happened to them, they decided to just focus on it like in the most negative way, which I get, like losing. I get it. So I feel like it takes so much strength to be able to say like, okay, I am going to try and focus on doing something better for my life. Cause you could have just fell into this dark place and stayed there. And then like, even for you, like you also pivoted as well. Like you said, at first you were like really mad, but then you said, okay, instead of like staying in this place, I am going to like be better. I'm going to do better. So
I even know someone who like used like they lost their dad around like that time of like you're growing and you need your parents around that time, and if you're close to them, it hurts even more. Or if it's a sibling, whoever it is that's in your immediate family, like you have to use that in order to like push you. Like I know now, like she's in college and stuff like that, and like she's using that, and like she's like. She goes to his grave and stuff like that, and like you know, look what I'm doing. Like she's using it in order to push her to keep going.
Right. That's all you got to do. Like you just got to keep going at the end of the day, because there's always going to be something that hits you. But the funny thing is, anyway, like we're capable of so much more than we actually think, and the only way that we're going to unlock that actual potential is by putting us into a bad situation. Like for me, I was constantly getting in trouble and stuff like that. And at one time I was at my grandma's house. I still remember it. Like my mom was standing like right across from me. Like there's a banister. My mom's sitting right across from me. My grandma's sitting in the dining room. There's an island and she's just sitting down. My mom was just crying because we had just gotten from a situation where I had just gotten into a fight again. And she was just like, Grammy, I don't know what to do with him. Like, I keep trying to punish him. I keep trying to do this and this and this. I took this away. I beat him, all this other stuff. Like nothing's working, right? Yeah. So, and then my grandma said something, and even I didn't even care at the time because I was just like, oh yeah, the person deserved it. I wasn't focused. But she said this. She said, you can't, like, just because you're his parent doesn't mean you have the ability to change him. Like sometimes some people have to go through a really traumatic experience to learn the lesson that they need to learn. So like sometimes it has to be something big to happen to you before you're like, let me pivot. Let me start thinking what I need to do. Like sometimes it's like, you just like those little love, like taps and stuff like that isn't going to help you. But when you go through like an immense amount of pain, like two things can come out of it. You can be in a very, very bad place for a long time, or it could wake you up and say, all right, bet now I'm going to use this to do something good. So it's twofold. Like you said, some people lost a parent or they lost somebody very close to them, and they just stay in this place of like negativity or this anger or this like depression. They use that to fuel the reason why they're not doing more. And then some people use it to fuel the reason why they're going to do more for other people.
Something that remind me of is I used to like tell people like, well, I would relate this to God, but I feel like it applies to other things too. Like sometimes for people to, in order for them to say like, oh, I'm gonna give my life to God, they have to get to like the lowest point ever before they say like, okay, I want more. But even like when we're just looking at habits or something, like you have, like I feel like sometimes what it takes for people to finally want to change is you get to that breaking point, like you get to that really low point. Like I had to physically just get so tired of being broke and messing up like with my money, like literally tired, like, and I finally said, okay, like I had my breaking point. I was like, okay, like something has to change. Like even with consistency, I was so frustrated that I could not be consistent. Like I had to literally get so tired of it until I finally desired more and then pivoted. And so sometimes people really do have to get so low until they finally say, okay, I want something different.
I honestly feel like even with like your story, like what y'all just said, it's the way you look at what you went through. Like, are you looking at it as like you just said, you looked at you losing your money and stuff like that, and how bad you were at being consistent with saving your money. You looked at it as, okay, how I'm tired of this, but I want to do better. Like I experienced that, you know, just doing DoorDash and then starting this, stopping that, going back to DoorDash. And I'm like, okay, I can't keep doing this. Like there's something has to change. And I had to look within myself. You know, normally the change isn't out there. It's not, what can I do out here? It's normally, how can I change inside?
I got tired of that as well, of just like self-sabotaging, like pushing people away every time something go wrong. The consistency thing, you got this one high moment where like you're consistent every single day. As soon as something go bad, now you want to stop and go like put yourself in the dark, like go in the corner somewhere, like so it's like you have to like push through, and like even when it's hard, you just got to keep working through it. Like it's not gonna be like there's gonna be some rain every day. It's not sunny outside, so it's gonna be rain here and there. It's gonna snow here and there. The seasons are gonna change. Sometimes your season, you need to sit in that moment and realize, what do I need to do in order to push to that will push me to my highest level, my next potential. Like I got tired of self-sabotaging. I got tired of like, you know, just rough relationships and rough communication and things like that. Like
what happened?
Am I hungry? I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it in.
Stomach said, no, for real. Nah, you okay?
That's not me. It's not.
Yo,
that's no, I really be like that though.
All right. But yeah, so yeah, I think that was good about what we were talking about. But like, what was y'all, bro? The honey bun is killing me.
It's not the honey bun.
Show the honey bun. Wait, don't show the full thing. We ain't got no sponsorship.
No, you gotta show the back.
Yeah, put that down.
We didn't get no sponsors.
When they pay us, then we can sponsor them. You feel me? But
I'm sorry if y'all can hear my
So I have a question. So like, with us starting this, it's been real organic. You know, we have like been growing a bond, Zell included, everyone. We just all been like growing together, holding each other accountable, like figuring out our roles, what's our strong suits, what's like what areas are we weak in. Like, you know, if we were to plan this episode and we're saying like, oh, Sean has to, you know, set up the date, we wouldn't have a date, and then we'll be like, he'll be like, oh, I thought you, I thought one of y'all was gonna set it up. So like, what are y'all intentions? This is a new year, a fresh start. So like, what are y'all intentions for the year? Like, what do y'all intend with this podcast? Just all of that stuff.
I could say with this podcast or
With this
not
podcast
personal.
and then even outside of that as well.
Okay, I could say with this podcast, really not being the person that, not just because I know, not just being the person that's inspiring, but also being transparent too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll hold back because I'm like, do I really want to share that? But because I know like everything we went through, somebody else can relate to that, and
Yes.
it has the potential to help them.
Yeah.
So with this podcast, yeah. And then for me personally, kind of like loving myself more, because I used to beat myself up all the time. Like I always dealt with that, even in school. I used to deal with that.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So
Every second.
Yeah. And you know, the message that you tell yourself each and every single day, it grows. So I used to deal with that as well, like telling myself like, you're stupid, like, you know, like you're dumb. Why did you make this move? Why did you do
Literally,
that?
bruh.
Like, why did you say yes? Why did you do this? Why did you pour into this person? Why did you give this to this person? It's like,
Yeah.
I just was beating myself down so much, and you gotta love yourself enough to not sacrifice your own well-being.
Facts.
So you have to make sure you're straight before you could pour into anybody else, because they're gonna take and they're gonna keep taking until they can get every little strand of you, and then now you're dried out, but everybody else is good, everybody else straight, and nobody's gonna check on you to see if you're good, because you gave it all. You gave it all of yourself away. You gave everything that you could. So it's like you have to make sure you're straight before you can pour into the next person, because everybody is like, most people are out there to get what they need, and that's it. Like as us, we are all willing to serve people. We're all willing to pour into each other and different things like that. But it's not like that for everybody. And also you have to realize that like it's okay to be the friend or, you know, the business partner that puts in more effort. It's like as long as you're a good person, that's all that matters. You don't have to focus on what the next person do and start acting accordingly like that to everyone.
Facts.
Yeah.
You just gotta be intentional and give yourself grace. So
Yeah.
like you just said, like you'll beat yourself up over certain things, and I did the exact same thing. Like I think we could have a competition. I think I did it more.
no, I bet I did it more.
We all been fighting,
Nah.
like, because again, the negative thoughts come, but at the same time, like, as long as you're intentional about, hey, I'm intentionally doing the right thing consistently, then from there you can utilize that to not only do better, but even when you make a mistake, the next thing that you have to do is give yourself grace. So if something happens and it's out of your control, or even if it is in your control, then from there you give yourself grace. And it's easier said than done. It's easy to say like, oh, just give yourself grace. Okay. Like it's not, it's honestly not that easy.
Literally.
Like everything good in life comes with work. Like everything great that's going to happen to you comes with some level of work on your part. So you just got to be intentional and then give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
What's y'all intention?
For the podcast, right? Or
Yeah.
oh, so
Podcast and personal.
You already spoke about the brand. So like
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's crazy. So this whole opportunity came during a time where I said like February is my month of preparation. Like I've been like preparing like during this month to set up the rest of the year for just like success and for growth and for me to really like hit my goals. And it's crazy because sometimes you don't know like how you're going to hit your goals.
Ooh, yeah.
And so this opportunity came at a time like right now we're preparing to hopefully launch something, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm preparing like in many different areas of my life, but I just thought that was so crazy. Like this came during a month of preparation, but I also feel like I want to be like intentional, like you said, like intentional, and I've been feeling like God has been telling me to just go deeper with everything. So whatever I've just like whatever is on my plate for this year, go deeper with that. So with this podcast, like we're gonna do this, we're gonna go deep with it, you know, like with my health, like don't just stop at the surface level, like go deeper. Like with my brand, finally, like this is going to be my year I'm consistent with posting content, like so go deeper, stop just posting once a month, you know, like so just going deeper. But I feel like this podcast has the potential to be like a light for real, because it's not just gonna be like, oh, we sitting here just saying motivation, like be great and just focus on your mindset.
We telling you
and
all of it.
Like we getting real, we're getting vulnerable, like we're being honest and open with people. And so my hope for the podcast is that people are able to connect with that, and that we continue to remain authentic in that, like we continue to remain like open with this audience. Like however many people end up watching, you know, like I hope that we can be a light to the people that watch. And
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Michael,
Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. All right. But yeah, my goal with the podcast is just to be transparent and add as much value as possible. So like before I wasn't being as transparent with certain things. And like you said, it's kind of hard. Like, what should I say this? Should I say that?
Sure,
like obviously I'm not telling everybody air all my business.
Yeah, you don't gotta spell it all out.
Yeah, but I want to like the stuff that I will be transparent about, and you can use this as well. Like all of us can use this. Be transparent with something, like, because again, all this stuff is personal to us, but be transparent with it if we have it. If we have a way to tie that to impacting somebody else. Right. So like, for example, the things that we're talking about now and being vulnerable about, the reason we're being vulnerable with it is not just like, oh yeah, we're going through We're saying, hey, this is what I'm going through, and I know you can resonate with this, and now I'm going to give you a solution on the back end of it. Because we never just hit you with something bad and never follow with something good. We always do. Yeah. So with the podcast, my goal is just to be intentional, obviously, about being consistent, stuff like that. Make sure I'm being transparent. And then also, I'll definitely say making sure I add value any way that I can. Yeah. And just operating in my gifts and not operating in like an area that I'm not good at. So like, for example, like again, like you're really fire with the thumbnails, you're really fire with editing and stuff like that. But it's like, all right, what value can I add to it? So it's like, all right, bet the way that my mind works, like you guys said, I'm out of pocket. So that's my mind.
You got out of pocket?
Out of pocket.
Okay.
Very, and not out of. It's L-U-T. Wait.
L-U-T.
L is crazy.
Like,
hear me out. O-U-T-T-A pocket. Out of pocket.
Yeah. I mean, we get it, but you just started with the
L was crazy.
I didn't say L. I don't think I said L. I have to go through.
Maybe that was an accent or something.
Yeah. Drop it down below if I said L. But yeah, like my goal is just to be transparent and just make sure I add value any way that I can. Yeah. And just operate in my gifts.
I definitely see your value. Definitely do add value. So.
Yeah, I would definitely say being intentional, because like you said, like you don't have to pour it all out on the table. You have to be intentional about what you're sharing, because some people are attached to that story. So you don't want to share something that somebody else isn't ready to share, or somebody else doesn't want that story to be told. Like we have to talk to these people, like our families, if they're included into the story. Like I was talking to my mom, just like telling her, like, you know, I want to talk about these things, and she was like, that's fine. You just don't, like, just understand that once you put it out there, it's out there forever. So you can't take it back. And so yeah, I just want to be intentional about just being transparent. I like what you said about taking care of your health. Your health is the table of your life. And so everything remains on that. So if you're trying to take care of your family, if that table breaks a leg, then that falls. If you break another leg on that table, it breaks, like your business fails as well. And like, I just want my business to, going to the podcast first, I want the podcast, like, for us to be fully transparent, continue to grow, continue to push each other's out of our comfort zone, and, you know, just be transparent with communication. If anything that, like, we need help with, we can help with. I need some help with my credit. Y'all need to, like, I need help so we can make that as well. Like, I need to get on that.
We'll have a class.
Yeah, we need to have a class on this right here. So yeah, we need to do that. And then just with my business, I want it to be impactful. I want it to be like Tyler Perry Studios, Tiana Taylor's creative brand. Like, I want mine, Royalty Made It, to be right there centered with them as well. And I want it to be a household name, and to just build something that's impactful, that not only serves me and my family, but serves thousands and millions of other people as well later on in the future.
I like how we said, like, all of us want to be like a household name. Like,
yeah.
We don't want to, like,
I want to go all in. I'm not dipping the pinky toe in the water.
Yeah, like
whole body.
We jumping in.
We don't care how cold it is. We don't care if it tickle. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna make sure we get in there. Like, I like that we said that. Like, we literally went from just being stuck in our house to now we want to be a household name. Right? So we spent all that time doing that research, doing that work, putting that work in. I know you was in there. You be 24 hours, no sleep, just making those dresses. Bro, you be going crazy. Like, literally, we be putting in the work. But at the same time, it's gonna show later on, and when we become a household name in our individual brands, that'll literally make this even bigger.
And then on top of that, we're growing as a person. So we're reading the books, listening to podcasts, and holding each other accountable, and where we could grow and stuff like that. So Yep. So
That's true.
this has been a great
episode.
This has been a great episode. Not gonna lie.
You want
This
some?
is.
You got something to say?
I was gonna say, I think Zell should also share his goals.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
he thought he was
for
slick.
sure,
He
for
thought
sure.
he was
For
tiptoeing
sure.
out of here. Y'all can't see it, but he was tiptoeing out.
He's gonna be included into our episodes,
Yeah,
so just
yeah.
expect him. It's not 4 of us; it's 5 of us.
Yeah.
Facts.
So we move together as a unit.
Learn how to count.
Exactly.
It's 5, not 4.
Well, thank you guys for having me on the podcast.
Mhm.
For those who don't know, my name is Ronzel T. I'm an engineer, producer, videographer.
Yes.
But honestly, I'm just their biggest support.
Yes.
My job right now is to make sure that you guys flourish, thrive, and continue to be social proof.
Yeah.
To leave an impact. You know,
Yeah.
like Trey just said, it's all about leaving an impact.
Yeah.
Anything that I can do to make you better, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I know you guys are going to hold up your end. It's my job to just make sure y'all look good.
Yeah.
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 Just, you know, be your biggest fan.
Yeah.
Facts.
Most definitely.
Period.
That's it. And
I
I got
appreciate
one
it.
more question for you.
Okay.
Facts.
All right, so what does it mean to you individually to be social?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a good way to end it.
Cool question.
You know,
Yeah.
you start jumping in with the questions, bro.
Like,
We don't be.
for real.
We
He
throw
be
that
having the
spice in
good
there.
questions. For
We be thinking
sure.
we asking high level questions and then he comes.
Exactly.
Like, hold on. I got something else.
No, for real.
I like
that's
that.
Who
Good.
wants that
Dang.
first? Because I don't know yet, just yet.
I gotta think about it.
Okay.
What does it mean to be social proof? Or
Can
No,
you
that's
get
a
your-
good question. I
Facts.
just want to really, I feel like I got to come with a great answer for
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Are you able to
Dang.
give your input too? Like, once we, yeah.
yeah, I can.
All right, cool.
Okay,
You wanna go
okay.
first?
I'm gonna let y'all.
Yeah, like, I got the question, but y'all need to finish it off.
The question was so high level, he don't even have his answer. That's how high level the question was.
I could start it off. Okay, so what does it mean to me to be or to have social proof? I feel like we live in a day and age where stuff be capped. Like it don't be
Yeah.
real,
For
real.
you know? And so I feel like the people who have social proof are the people who are really out there and putting in the work. And so it doesn't matter. I feel like it doesn't even matter where you're at. Like just because you made $100,000, I don't feel like that's automatic social proof. Like you could have scammed, you know,
Facts.
like you could have did like things like wrong or whatever to get that money, but it's like, what are your real results? You know, like what's the
Facts.
real work that you're putting in behind the scenes? Like, I feel like that's the social proof. Like, how often are you showing up? Like,
Right.
like what are you doing that people can't see?
Right.
And so I feel like that's what the social proof is. Like, I'm showing y'all, like, I'm really out here building. Like, I really been out here
In the
sewing,
field.
Facts.
doing these designs since
Yeah.
a little kid, since 2nd grade. Like, even though I'm not that household name yet, because I am in the field, I am working. Like, I feel like that's proof enough. Like, you can
Yeah.
see through how I talk about my business, how I put in the work for my business, that I am. When I say I'm gonna have that $1 billion brand, you gonna believe that I'm gonna have that $1 billion
Facts.
brand. And so I feel like that's what like social proof is to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo.
I like that.
No Rihanna. But I got one because you just sparked something. So I definitely feel like a lot of stuff be kept, and so I want to be able to like keep my integrity, be a man of my word,
I
show
love that.
character, and like when I make my mark, I don't want people saying like, oh well, he treated me this way. He was a respectful person, basically.
Yeah.
I don't want people to say like, oh well, he treated me this way. He treated me this way, and now there's a confusion on who I really was. And so like I just want to work on like communication and different things like that. I want that to be my social proof that I kept my integrity the whole way out. I didn't do anything stepping outside of my character, because I know that once you do something that's outside of your character, you have to keep up with it and you have to maintain that. I always want to be true to myself, no matter how wealthy I get or how many accomplishments I make. Like I don't want to act like as if I'm better than everyone. I want to remain true to myself, be humble of what I obtained, and like give the game to others as well. Like I always say this, like no matter how wealthy I get and stuff, like Frank and beans, I eat that forever. Like bro, like when my mom cooked that, I'll be like, yeah, like we lit tonight. So yeah, I just want to be able to keep my integrity, be a man of my word, and also the people that I say that I'm doing it for, I want to be involved in their life. I don't want it to be a moment of just like, oh well, you've achieved all these goals, but you were never here to be a part of the lives of the people that you say you wanted to be. So like my grandmother, my granddad is 90 or 91, I believe. His birthday is December 3rd. And so like, as I mentioned to y'all, like I just hope that he's able to see everything all the way through. Like I admire De'Ara and her grandmother with her collection, like how she got her name on that and stuff like that. So it's just beautiful. Like, I want those people to be included and be able to see the full vision that was in my mind and I executed on it. So
I love that.
That's good. It's a really good question. I'd have to say social proof is a powerful ideology that basically speaks to truth. I'd have to say like when I think of social proof and what I like, how I stand on it. If you haven't been through pain, you don't deserve to profit. Like if you haven't been through any type of
the struggle.
If you haven't taken on risk, you don't deserve to take on revenue, right? Like you have to go through risk, you have to take on pain to get to that point where you can start getting receiving anything for what that like is. And like I think that's literally all social proof is. Social proof is literally showing socially proof that you've been through something and now you can get them to that also result as well. Right. So like for me, the reason like I literally didn't even start doing as well. It was funny because like I was a good teacher, but I wasn't a great teacher. I was a good teacher because I was showing people like the process, but I wasn't great because I wasn't always showing them the reality. Right. So now that I'm showing them, all right, bet this is the reality of the situation. Now I'm showing them the good and the bad. So nothing can really be truly balanced or perfect or whole if you don't have good or bad with it. And I feel like social proof encompasses all of that inside of the ideology behind it. So I think that social proof means to me just being transparent about the good and the bad, like showing the good, showing the bad, showing the negative, showing the positive, but also ending with a balanced life at the end of it.
Being resilient, showing that like it doesn't just stop here.
Facts.
Like
it doesn't stop.
I kept going.
That's true. I would say for me, social proof means telling your story. So then it goes back to what you said, being transparent, right? I feel like even for you, like your story about your consistency, and I know for me, like my story about all the things I went through, like even growing my relationship with God, it wasn't always ups. I've been through, like I literally had like one of my biggest trials the year I got saved, right? And I feel like that story, I can use it to connect with my community, right? I'm not just coming as this professional that just know it all. No, I went through it too. And so now I can use that to connect with my community and I kind of build that bond with them. So telling your story.
Great.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes you gotta
Go ahead.
I already know he about to end it off with something fire. So I was like, let me just get this in real quick.
To end it off, I really think that being social proof is being remembered long after you're dead and gone.
See, we knew you was fine.
This is why I passed the torch.
Like, think about your family, that's being social proof, being stamped on this world. Like how people gonna remember you, are you gonna be legendary?
I love that.
Facts. I love that.
My favorite song is Drake, Legend. That's my favorite song. I always listen to that to get me turned up. I think this was a great episode.
Definitely.
We had the little salt. We put our little seasoning on this. I hope y'all really enjoyed this episode. Like, just tell us what you resonated. Support, please.
Y'all gotta run these numbers up. If y'all want to see more of them, y'all gotta run these numbers up.
Back on here, we gotta run the numbers up. Like, y'all gotta show love. Share it with your granny. Share it with your scranny.
Your friends.
Scranny is crazy.
What we say last time, if you pregnant, put the headphones on the baby so that your child can hear it.
Give them this information.
I'm so serious.
It's for everybody.
If you got beats, put it on your belly so that he can hear it. You be like, oh, I heard it. I heard
even if it's a newborn.
Newborn.
Prop that joint up. Put it on a screen. Boom.
No, for real.
Let's get it.
Trey hilarious.
So I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also share the audio podcast. Like, we're new to this and we're learning. Dave is a great mentor, so we're gonna be learning as we go. And comment down below. We're gonna all make sure we come back in the comments and engage with y'all. So
yep. Oh, y'all want to say y'all platforms?
Yeah. Can't forget that.
Yeah.
You start.
Okay, I'll start. My main is Yanni Bratcher, so YANNIBRATCHER. That's my main on Instagram, and then you can support my brand at Wise Label, so WISELABEL. That's on Instagram and TikTok.
You could just hit me up. Literally all social media platforms. CEO Ashon, CEOASHON, CEOASHON, no T, just HON.
Instagram. Okay. I forgot that fast. Okay, so my Instagram is Jael Official. My brand Instagram at JAELL Official. And then my personal Instagram is at I am Jada Ellis. Don't forget the Y. JAYDA.
Don't forget it.
Ellis.
Yeah. So if you're trying to find like more personal content of me as I share on this podcast, just being fully transparent, follow me on Instagram and all social media platforms at Royal Trevion, Royal TREVION. And if you want to support my graphic design agency, my creative agency, you can follow us at Royalty Made It. So Royal ROYALT, no Y, Made It, MADEIT. And we'll be back. I appreciate y'all.
Yes.
Oh, Ronzel, you're my boy.
Gotta let him know.
Man, once again, my name is Ronzel T. You can follow me on all platforms at Legendary Zell. It goes to be legendary. But long story short, man, I'm a man of God. I'm a husband. I'm an alpha.
Let's go.
Most importantly, I'm just a man trying to figure it out every single day.
We got a bunch of mentors around us. He said he's married.
Right, we gonna need some lessons.
Yeah. That's it. Just follow me on all platforms. Check these guys out because they are super dope.
Yeah. We'll be back, y'all.
We'll be back.
Y'all. Thanks for watching.